Deputy Presiding Officer, honesty and integrity from members of both our governments is essential for faith in public life to be restored. This morning on the BBC, the Deputy First Minister was asked twice, do ministers in the Scottish Government always tell Parliament and the public the truth? The answer should have been an unequivocal and simple yes. But instead, the Deputy First Minister's answer was that they only aim to do so. People have known for a long time that this government has a problem with the truth. But is this now the official government position?
First Minister.
Look, we should all be telling the truth in our interactions, wherever they are and wherever they occur. I will say once again what I said 4 times to Douglas Ross already, that Michael Matheson, of course, admits to mistakes. He admits to mistakes in relation to the handling of this entire episode. But when Michael Matheson found out late on Thursday night, not last week, the week before, that his family had used the iPad, he took the immediate decision the next day to pay back the full amount. In a personal statement to this Parliament, he admitted not just the mistakes he made, but he admitted the reasons for those mistakes. He has undoubtedly reflected on that, and now what he has done this week is get on with the job as Health Secretary and ensure that he's supporting our NHS through what will be an incredibly difficult winter indeed.
Deputy President, I'm so pleased the First Minister said that we should always be telling the truth, because in the short time Humza Yousaf has been First Minister, the record of this Parliament has had to be corrected 3 times because of wrong information he has told this chamber. Once was in response to the serious issue of the COVID inquiry and deleted WhatsApp messages, and another was in response to me in this chamber when the First Minister gave an inaccurate answer about Scotland's renewables. But instead of immediately correcting the record, he took up hours of civil service time to try and spare his blushes. We know this because Labour now has the full unredacted emails between the First Minister's office and officials. They show that when civil servants pointed out he was wrong, he rejected their advice. Instead, his advisers had civil servants spend a month trying to cover up with a new line, including manufacturing statistics to fit his answers. First Minister, if these are the lengths you will go to hide the truth on a simple mistake, should anyone be surprised that you won't sack Michael Matheson for knowingly misleading the public?
First Minister.
There is a reason, Presiding Officer, why the people of Scotland time and time again have elected us to be the government of Scotland. And there's a reason why Anna Sarwar and the Conservative Party sit here in opposition.
First Minister,
and Anna Sarwar is...
Could you resume your seat? There is far too much barracking and background noise as the First Minister is responding to the questions. Let's hear the First Minister. First Minister.
And Anna Sarwar is shouting, they haven't elected me. Can I remind him, I have won elections to this Parliament. In fact, the seat that I represent was held by a Labour MSP until I won it, Presiding Officer. So I won't take any lectures from Anna Sarwar about how you win an election, if that's okay. In terms of the issue that Anna Sarwar points to, when it comes to Scotland's energy potential, yes, of course, there is an incumbency upon any of us, whether it's a government minister or whether it's a backbencher, to correct the record if any inaccurate statement has been made. I take that responsibility very seriously. And what I won't apologise for, though, is the fact that we have an incredible renewables potential here in Scotland, a potential that we will invest in, and we will unleash that full potential for the workforce going forward. So while we will talk up our energy potential, I know Anna Sarwar is only interested in talking it down, Presiding Officer.
Anna Sarwar.
Deputy Officer, the people of Scotland have only had one opportunity to pass judgment on Humza Yousaf as First Minister. That was the Rutherglen and Hamilton West by-election, when there was a 20% swing to Labour, and Labour getting double the vote the SNP got. So I'll give you lessons on how to win an election, First Minister, come the next general election, because this is a gross breach of the relationship between ministers and officials, a gross breach. But not the First Minister and the Government. This behaviour has become a norm for them. But actually, it's also a gross breach between ministers and the public when a minister can knowingly mislead them. And that's why Scottish Labour has long called for a Clean Up Holyrood Act to sweep away the culture of secrecy and cover-up that the SNP have allowed to thrive. The salmon inquiry, the ferry scandal, the failures at the Queen Elizabeth in Glasgow and the sick kids in Edinburgh, deleted COVID WhatsApp messages, and now the Deputy First Minister now saying they only aim to tell the truth. Under the SNP, trust and faith in Scotland's institutions has been lost. Isn't it the case, as represented by the good people of Rutherglen and Hamilton West, that this is a government that is running out of road, desperate to save their jobs and willing to say anything to cling on to power?
First Minister.
Presiding Officer, it's clearly not the case, because we've been re-elected time and time again by the people of Scotland to run our public services here in Scotland. In terms of Freedom of Information Act, I'm more than happy to provide a written response to Anna Sarwar about the improvements that we have made in relation to responding back, because we take our obligations very, very seriously. And Anna Sarwar talks about trust, he talks about values. Well, I'm sorry, I do not know what the values are of Sir Keir Starmer when it comes to the UK Labour Party. Well, actually, I take that back. I do know what the values of Sir Keir Starmer are. The values of Sir Keir Starmer are to make sure that he retains the two-child limit, to make sure he retains the bedroom tax, to make sure he retains the rape clause. Something, of course, Anna Sarwar disagreed with and now suddenly agrees with. So we know what our values are, and nobody from London, nobody from party headquarters will tell us otherwise.
Question 3.